What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Dot Connect Wednesdays, episode 93. This is a wake up moment. I'm Chan Bobbitt, Steve Bayonne. Listen, guys, y'all better strap in, man. We got Steve on board today. He gonna kick something. Gentlemen, welcome. Let's go, man. Steve, how you feeling?
Everything good. I'm hearing that feedback from whatever you got playing.
Yep, I just
Okay.
cut it.
All right, guys, listen, we're going to jump right into it. So, biggest news in crypto right now, I'm going to call this the $16 trillion shift in tokenization. All right. So, I need you guys to follow along. I'm not going to connect all the dots, but then it'll be so obvious. Pen and pad. $16 trillion shift. Tokenization, where Wall Street meets blockchain. All right. So today I hit up Champ. I'm like, yo, bro, did you hear that news? These three juggernauts. So we were playing catch up a little bit with this one. So this is the biggest shift in financing since the internet. All right. I'm letting you guys know that right now. This is the biggest shift in financing since the internet. All right. So what just happened now, Chainlink, JP Morgan, Kinexys, if I'm saying it right. So and Ondo Finance all teamed up to create a bridge to bridge traditional banking with blockchain. All right. So the three guys that I just talked about, guys, we got Chainlink. If you know that, if you don't know, then you might want to start researching. JP Morgan, Kinesis, which was originally Onyx. All right. So I don't want you guys to get thrown off a little bit. They've had this Onyx platform for a long time. That's the company that's running the blockchain arm over at JP Morgan. All right. So they just did a name change. And then you have Ondo Finance. The champ talked about Ondo extensively. I think that might be one of the most bought up projects that we've dropped things here and there. All right. So this partnership isn't just like another crypto collaboration. All right. This is where TradFi is meeting DeFi at full speed. Okay. So before we go, the JP Morgan situation, they just rebranded the blockchain platform that they have to call it JP Morgan Kinesis. It was formerly known as Onyx. All right. So when you do the research, you're going to see Onyx in there. It's all one and the same. All right. So make sure you write that down. All right. So the platform already, and this is for Onyx, they've already executed over $1 billion in tokenization asset transactions. And this has been over the course of the last few years. But JP Morgan, this Onyx situation has been out for years now. All right. So when we told you that these guys were here, we weren't joking. All right. So they've tokenized US treasuries. If you didn't see the situation where I talked about the T bonds, that's a big connection point there too, guys. So it's happening. All right. So US treasuries are now um, offering digital settlements for institutional clients. So now we're not talking about like mom and pop retail guys. We're talking about the big guys that are in the room right now. TradFi is really traditional finance. All right. It's another name for it. DeFi is the decentralized finance. That's the new world that's coming in. You can't have DeFi without TradFi. They're not beefing with each other. DeFi is a layer that's sitting on top of traditional finance. Make sense? I told you, crypto does one or two things. It either enhances the way you do business or it just gets you out the way. So traditional finance, TradFi, they need DeFi and DeFi needs TradFi. Why? Because that's where all the customers are at, right? There's more customers outside of the banking in the banking system than there is in the crypto exchange marketplaces. It's just a fact. All right. So JP's platform is building a rail to move real bank money into tokenized markets. Okay. Chainlink. All right. So let me go back up a little bit. Kinesis is designed to be an infrastructure layer. What's the first thing I told you guys to do when there's emerging tech? What's the first thing we have to invest in? Infrastructure, right? Champ, how long has I been saying this?
For the longest.
Right. So if we're 3 years in existence, a little over 3 years, me and you've been in this game for 10 years, I'd say at least the last 5 or 6 years, that's been one of my talking points. Back then, nobody wanted to hear anything. you invest in infrastructure. So I always open up with this. I said, listen, if you're a real estate developer and you had any one asset that you can purchase or build or do whatever, everybody's always on some, oh, casinos, this, malls, that. They're thinking of the end, right? For me, it's the infrastructure is the land, because on the land, once you control that, you can do just do about anything, right? You got mineral rights in the ground, you got air rights to build up, you can build out depending on how big the land is. So this is the same thing that we're doing here. Everyone who's going to be handsomely rewarded in cryptocurrency is going to be rewarded. The first wave of people are going to be rewarded by infrastructure projects. That's the backbone of this whole situation right now. We could talk about a lot of different projects that rely on people, right? But I'm telling you that the first wave of people that are going to use the infrastructure rail are going to be institutional investors. Okay. We're just so early and lucky to have a seat at this table right here because we're watching the whole thing being built out in front of us. And if I had to guess, we've probably prepared you guys to understand what the infrastructure projects are. Guys, they're nothing more than just you're investing in blockchain technology. I don't care about layer ones, twos, three. I don't care about none of that. You just got to identify what the blockchains are, what they do, and who is about to put a train on this rail, and how big is that train, and how fast does that train move.
Mhm.
All right. So again, this is an infrastructure play. All right. So JP Morgan is basically building a rail to move real bank money into tokenized markets. All right. It's a perfect relationship because JP and them have all the banking relationships. You understand? So all they really need to do is partner with the guys that have been doing it on the crypto side. Once they understand how that works, they bring their relationships and expertise from TradFi to DeFi. And this is where you're going to see the most movement in cryptocurrency outside of like the derivatives market. This one is going to be bigger than the derivatives market.
Mm.
Well, yeah, this is big. This is bigger. This is just as big as the internet. Put it that way. All right.
I agree.
$16 trillion. All right. And that's just in a few short years. So that's what JP's doing. Now, Chainlink, how do they play in this? So they provide the infrastructure to connect real-time bank data to the blockchain securely. That's what Chainlink is. It says it's all in the name, guys. Chainlink is something that connects to something is a chain.
Hmm.
All right. So Chainlink. Don't overcomplicate it. You need to look at that project. Research it. I'm not saying to buy it, but if you ain't been on it, then you're tripping. This is a backbone play. Okay, it's needed. Now, Ondo Finance, Champ said it a bunch of times. Ondo brings tokenized U.S. securities into real world assets. All right, so this is what Ondo's job is. It's basically tokenizing whatever set asset. All right, so that's the role of all three of these guys that got together. Okay, now let's break down how this changes the entire game. So you have to understand how traditional finance works. There's a thing called T+2. Does anybody know what that means? Just drop a one in the chat if you do. Drop a two if you don't. It's a transaction date plus 2 days. How they look? They know what they're talking about?
Bunch of twos.
This is where the dot connect is important, guys. You won't realize how big something is if you don't know how the old system works. All right, so this is important. A T+2 means it's a transaction date plus 2 days. All right, so if you buy a stock on Monday, the trade isn't officially completed until it settles. All right, this is what's happening in the stock market. So it won't settle until when? Wednesday. T+2 days. All right, and if you buy on Friday, guess what? You're going through the weekend if you sell out. All right. So this delays exists because the old financial structure is involving banks, clearinghouses, and back office systems. All of these systems are outdated, guys. All right. So here's why blockchain enables what? Near instant settlement. All right. And this is why it matters. Okay. So we know what the T+2 means. Okay. So right now, traditional assets take about, like I said, the T plus the 2 days. With tokenized, it becomes instant. They instantly settle. Tokenized assets runs 24/7, not just banking hours. Okay. And then you can buy fractions of high value assets. This is where I told you they're going to start to break down the T bonds because before, in order for us to play, we needed a broker to buy some of this work. Now we no longer need those guys anymore.
Mhm.
Okay. So you're not just stuck here in the United States borders. This is anybody globally can access this. So imagine how much more new liquidity is going to come into the markets. So when Trump is out here doing these trade deals, when 600 billion raised here, 300 billion raised here, and all this other stuff, you're going to start to see how every single one of those plays are going to be tokenized. Keep canceling your memberships. I'm going to tell y'all that. Keep canceling your memberships. Y'all don't even understand what we're on the brink of right now. What most people don't understand, champ, is they don't realize what the price of regret is. You understand? And then when we double back with people, I'm starting to realize that people are canceling valuable memberships because of lack of time. So my next question to them is, well, how much money are you making with the time that you're spending right now? And their answer to me is nothing more. I just work. So I'm like, all right, what are you doing outside of work time? That's where you close the gap, guys. Like I'm working with my son here, and I'm like, listen, he's a little bit behind the curve for his age and in this high level basketball situation. But the time that we get to close this window is in the summer, right? Because everybody's playing around. Nobody wants to wake up at 5 in the morning in the summertime. Nobody wants to, no one wants to put that extra work in the summer.
Mhm.
This is when you close the gap. So I'm teaching them a valuable lesson now. So the same thing with here, guys. I'm telling you, we are right here. If you didn't watch the roundtable the other day, we only need stablecoin regulations. The rest of it, I don't even think they could sort the rest of it out. I watched that 4.5, that 5 hour situation the other day, and I had to play back a lot of points in my head, and I'm starting to realize that it's a global asset class, and they really can't put any rules any different than what they have now.
Mhm.
They just don't have the bandwidth, and it's just too much nuances that happen in cryptocurrency. All right. They're not going to be able to. And the thing is, innovation is happening way faster than we could actually govern it. This
Yeah.
happened with the internet. This is happening with AI. This is happening with crypto and blockchain. It just is happening. So if you're fortunate enough to be in a situation where you understand what's happening, then you're good. Like you could literally set yourself up for the rest of your life and a couple generations, depending on how bullish you are on this situation. All right. So we're past being a speculative group here. We know that this thing is here to stay. All right. I am no longer looking to entertain people on the importance of getting into cryptocurrency. I just need to pour into the people that's showing up now. All right. Because we're already working on the next phase of what's going to happen when you actually do get the wealth. Right. This is all part of the 30-day mental detox. This is all part of, getting the mindset prepared for new wealth, right? Getting rid of old ways, setting up this new structure, the same way that the structure is being set up. All right. So tokenized assets 24/7, not just banking hours. You can buy fractional high value assets. And then you're not stuck within the United States borders. That's big, right? You already know we're already playing outside the borders even before all of this. All
Yeah.
right. So, how's the next wave of wealth going to be created? All right. Through programmable assets, they work what? Faster, smarter, with fewer middlemen. All right. So, some of the top benefits to faster settlement via tokenization is what? Lower risk. So, you reduces counterparty risks, someone backing out before settlement. This happens. Faster liquidity. Investors get funds or assets immediately. That means that the faster you get your money, the faster you can do what with it? Reinvest again or move it into something else, right? None of that, the checks in the mail, 7 business days to clear, or we have to hold the money. Every story they give you in the book, right? No middlemen, fewer intermediaries equal what? Lower fees. So that means we will profit a lot more. 24/7 market access. So unlike banks, blockchain runs nonstop. Nonstop. All right. So let me give you a real world example. So imagine buying a tokenized US security at 11 p.m. tonight. Actually, 11 p.m. on a Saturday. It's possible with tokenization. All right.
Mhm.
So you buy it instantly, your fund transfers in seconds, and then your interest starts to accrue,
A crew.
accrue,
There you go.
tripping. My wife laughing, tripping, accrue. I'm gonna get it together one day. Just not today. All right. So that starts immediately, right? Normally it has to start when business hours and then you lose it. So now you're actually getting days. It matters, right?
Yep.
So we playing with small money. Can you imagine the 100 billion guys?
Yeah.
The amount that they save in their fees, the amount of time that they save, how fast they can move their money around in and out of things, right? They've already played at a different speed of light in the stock market. So imagine when technology can actually settle things. They've been asking for this forever. This is why JP and them have been involved in this for over a decade for this aspect of it, not the Bitcoin talk. All right. So, what are the top benefits to fast settlement through tokenization? All right. Listen, instant liquidity, guys. Investors can access cash and assets immediately after a trade. All right. That's important. Okay. Global participation. No need to wait on banking hours or international business cycles because you know how this thing goes. When we're closed, you got a whole new market that's open. Like all this stuff gets flipped upside down. If you want to stay up 24/7, guys, you'll be able to transact in whatever you feel your heart desires. All right. And now with the automation situation, it's going to be even wilder that you can set it and forget it. And I'm talking about every single market is going to be connected through blockchain. And all you need is a cell phone and some fingers and a little bit of know-how. All right. This is a good time, guys. We already talked about the lower transaction. Okay. So the delays in itself is a scam because you have to ask yourself, what are they doing with this money in these couple days? You don't think this, you think this money is just sitting at a clearinghouse? You don't think they playing with this thing in and out? Just a question. I don't know. But Champ, if you had to guess, what do you think's happening with your money?
Man, they're flipping it 100 million times over,
Money
doing
flipping.
any and everything with it,
Oh, okay. Just checking.
giving everybody else inklings of a crumb.
Just checking.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, I'm gonna make this real simple. All right. Tokenization, tokenized assets make things more accessible. It opens things up to all of us now. So now we have this is the inclusion that I talked about before, right? They're getting rid of that accredited investor stuff. That there's laws on the books that are getting rid of that stuff, because once tokenized assets come to life and you start to fractionalize it, it becomes accessible for everybody. I'm talking about third world countries that are going to be the first world. They're all going to have access to this investment vehicle, right? So when Africa starts to tokenize their new industries, what stock market do you think is going to be the strongest? And when I say stock, I'm just using an old word. But just think about it, right? We talk about the Asian market, we talk about this market. What happens when Africa grabs hold of their natural resources and they start to create a market and they start to become market makers or whatever they're going to do? And then they start to tokenize it where you can invest in the infrastructure of an emerging market.
That thing is going to dwarf everything.
Listen, these guys cannot hold themselves back from investing in those markets because you can't dominate those markets anymore. You can't pillage like that. So that's what we're going to be shifting our focus to is watching them closely. We have an insider who's working with the tax software in these countries in Africa. We're constantly collecting insider information and not insider information like the like breaking the law, just information that's at our disposal because we're paying attention. All right. So keep canceling. Let's go. So Link becomes the secure data bridge for banks and blockchain. That's what Link's job is. ETH is a player in this, right? Because Ondo is built on ETH, right, champ?
Yep.
All right. So ETH remains the base layer where most of the tokenized innovation happens. I'm just going to tell you that right now, guys. They got some projects over there for now. For now.
for now.
All right. Ondo gives access to yield on chain backed by real US assets. Ondo's a big player, guys. Listen, Ondo is a big play. Chainlink's always been huge
Yeah.
since before I even heard of Ondo. But when Ondo came onto the scene, I'm like, wow, this is the institutional guy's dream right here. All right. So trillions in assets move to the blockchain. The tokens powering this shift benefits the most. So we just named how many crypto projects did we just name just now, Champ?
Four off the bat.
Well,
Five.
no. Well, three. Link, ETH, and Ondo.
Three.
Right? We can't benefit off of the JP situation. That's just private. I mean, you want to invest in your stock, but the money is going to be in the infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is why we don't just speculate. We study the infrastructure because the infrastructure is what's going to get everybody paid, guys. The same exact thing happened during the internet. The people who invested in the infrastructure of the internet, a lot of those, those pets.com and, radio.com and all that other stuff, it just didn't work. What seemed like it didn't work was just wasn't ready because you needed the users. You understand? So for this wave of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, we don't need end users right now. You understand? The V chains, the Morpheus, those guys are going to need some end users. The Dymos, those projects that we gave you, we can sit on those for a little bit. When they play catch up, trust me, you got a portfolio that's going to take you well into like 2040, 2050,
Yep.
well into those situations. All right. So you are investing in early Apple's, early Microsoft. Do your own research. It's not financial advice. All right. So tokenized assets is just not a trend. It's the future of ownership, income, and investing. All right. So what I want you guys to do is ask yourself, are you just gonna watch or are you guys participating in this shit? Put a one in the chat if you've been participating in any one of those assets that I put in there, and put a two if you're lost and you're just trying to figure things out. And you could be honest about that
Yeah. No judgment. We
because we
listen.
just need to get you up to
Nothing.
speed.
All ones.
All
We
right.
got one, two. We got one, two that was in there.
And then for the person that was a two, are you inside the academy yet?
He is.
All right. We just gotta get you up to speed. Um, in the next couple weeks, we have an academy meeting coming up because I'm starting to notice that some people just aren't connecting the dots quick enough and they feel like they're running out of time. Um, but you're really not running out of time now, guys. Like a $3 XRP is not a bad situation when you can
Mm-hmm.
see the end goal of what this thing is willing to do. A $1 Ondo is not a bad situation,
Not at all.
right? I think the biggest thing that's in people's ways is really people and your thought process. Right? People are coming into the academy thinking that they're too late. Guys, listen, I've been doing this for 10 years. Like I was too early. Just be grateful that you're part of a small group of people that are trying to figure this thing out and that you have a academy that lives for this in simplifying the information, right? All you have to do is get through the early coursework because that's just the foundational understanding of it. Because even if we gave you Ondo, then your next question is, where do I buy it?
Yep.
How much do I buy? That's the next question after that. And then it's like, all right, well, where do I buy it from? Yeah, I hear this shit all day. That's why I don't even entertain it. They give it to me in that exact order. Like I'm gonna tell you how much Ondo to buy. Do you know what it does? No. Now I'm gonna ask you guys one more thing. So lately I've been getting a lot of forward Instagram posts. There's a bunch of new guys on the block, champ. They sound great too. I ain't even gonna hold you. They're playing on every bit of emotion of people who don't really know what's happening, right? This is the project that's going to go 10,000%. And they named some big projects too. So I'm not going to take anything away from them. I'm just telling you that when you guys send this to me in my inbox, if depending on who the person is, I might entertain it. I might say, listen, what do you know about the project? And every single person says nothing. That's why I sent it to you. So you want me to validate something that's then gonna maybe get you to buy it. I'm not a financial advisor. One, I'm barely keeping up with just everything that's on my plate. Never mind worrying about what every individual is doing. Okay. So, and I'm not saying don't send me videos on things, but just be careful who you're listening to on the internet, right? Because all of it sounds great. But if you don't follow what we set forth, right? Because if you're in the academy and you know how to analyze projects, what's the first thing you do when you hear somebody talking about something? You go and you pull out your research tools,
Yep.
right? Coin market cap, you go here, you go there, you check out the page, you check out the team, you go look for some partnerships. Maybe you come back to the academy. Maybe it was something we talked about in the Dot Connect, right? I'm gonna tell you where I'm spending all my time, and then Champ can have the rest of the floor. So, Champ, you could drop the link to them. We have the playback from the tokenized roundtable that the what's the name of the group? The Crypto Task Force.
Crypto Task Force, yep.
It's a dumb name. I feel like we should rename it. So we gave you the Crypto Task Force website. So what I'm doing is I'm going through the website. I first subscribe my email to make sure that I get every bit of information that comes from that website. Straight up. So now every time they have a meeting coming up and they have one coming up in June, you want to make sure that you put that on your calendar and you either watch it live or you catch the playback, which usually comes out like 2 days after. I'm more live. I got to get this stuff together. Now
Yep.
what I'm doing is I go to meeting minutes underneath the task force site. This is all on the SEC website. All right. Underneath the previous meetings, you can see all the meetings that the task force have had and with what company. When you go inside the meeting, you get the meeting notes. So it gives you not only the company, what the agenda is for the conversation. They're not giving you what was said in the meeting, though. That's the part. These are closed door meetings. Now, when you scroll all the way down, you're going to see who was actually on the call. So now I'm starting to research all the people from these companies. And I'm starting to realize, like, damn, this person just worked. They just left Ripple. That person just left such and such. This person used to work over here. That person, you see where I'm going? So now I'm
Yep.
connecting those dots. So what do you think these people do when they leave one company to go to another? And I swear, Ripple must have like moles in every institution and government at this point now, right? So when you start to make those connections, you can start to make, I'm not even speculating anymore because it's like, this just makes sense, right? Then you start to see the partnership and you're like, that's what happens when you hire certain personnel that has relationships outside of your company, because that's what BlackRock needs to do. BlackRock can't hire within. They have
Yep.
to go out and poach some of the best minds in cryptocurrency. And usually you get them from the people who are um, running projects or managing certain aspects of projects. And for me, as a crypto company, I would love for someone to come out of my firm to go to a bigger institution that's going to dump this money in here to go represent us at the end of the day, right? Because that's the easiest way to keep this synergy going. So they're not looking. Really can't hoard or own people like that anyway. But it makes sense to leave your role at set blockchain company to then go into a government role or go into a high level institution. This is where we at right now.
Real talk.
So we had all ones. Everybody's positioned correctly.
We had majority ones. We had another two that popped up late, but
No, it's all good. So listen, in a couple weeks, guys, we're just going to bring a lot of and it's open to all members, but I'm bringing some old members back. I'm just starting to realize that some people just need a little bit more support, right? Because what happens is when you leave Skyton Academy, they outside of here, I can't talk crypto to nobody else. I mean, I talk to crypto with Champ all day and then, Lance, but outside of here, like in my personal life with people I know personally, I'm still in teaching mode in a sense, but no one's filling my cup outside of these conversations right here. So I have to find entertainment in 5 hour talks to come back and break down the information for the academy because I know most people may not geek off on stuff like that. And listen, the only reason I'm doing this, and it's not to bring y'all back the information. The first thing is I'm looking to position myself properly, right? So if I'm taking that much level of care and due diligence for myself, then of course everybody else is going to benefit after. And I'm talking about real time after too. We're not just sitting on this stuff. Champ's been telling y'all about Ondo since like I, I, there was a post that you did, Champ, that I didn't even like really even pay attention to it. That shit was like 30 cents. It was early. I'm like, damn, you gave this out. So
Yeah,
that's the other thing we're gonna do too is we're getting back into the spot situation.
absolutely.
We're gonna start getting back into these spot calls. Um, Champ's working on something to bring back to refine the sectors now. So we're going to start to give like 2025, 2026, 27, 28, because that's some of the biggest things. So that's going to be for our 1% group where you guys can start to understand like, all right, maybe you don't need to allocate a whole bunch here. All right, but if you want to make the first wave, this is where you need to be at. And guys, don't sell because this DeFi market, you're going to have a basket of things, lending products and all sorts of stuff is going to be at your disposal. No social security number, um, no credit score, none of that matters. Just assets.
Yep.
That's it. They don't care about race. This thing is country, like Champ likes to say, agnostic.
My God.
I said it right.
Smoke that. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh my god, man. I'm work in progress, man. Yeah, some words just trip me up, man.
Nah,
Straight up. And I don't know. Maybe I'm saying it right and they're saying it wrong.
that's it.
Quite possible.
I like how you did that. You've been working on some things in that journal over there for that 30-day. I
I
like
listen,
that.
I'll be honest with you. That thing has been helping me get my thoughts together. That's probably why I can't even get my words together because my thoughts be like they're not all the way wild, um, all over the place, but it's a lot of data that goes through my head right now. So now I've just been simplifying it, um, analyzing my portfolio, making sure things are in the right place, keeping an eye on the shit a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
That's the important part, guys. Making sure that your mobile device or whatever your devices you're using are air gapped. If y'all don't know what that is, good luck. These hacks are getting they're getting more sophisticated. If you are using your personal cell phone with a data plan on it, you can get smoked out here. Your phone is the least secure device that we own, but it's the one that we're on the most. So convenience is great, but what makes you laugh can also make you cry. So we're constantly staying on the pulse of that. And guys, as this stuff becomes more and more valuable, I don't know if you've seen the that attempted kidnapping the other day. I'm like, these guys are nuts, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Out in
people
France.
in Europe just wild. And then you had the Vegas story, but I'm like, I don't know. There's some holes in that. You just drive from Florida to Vegas. Well, whatever. I'm like, that's a lot for cold storage. Wow, like for crypto.
Yeah.
So I don't know these wrench attacks, and we told you about wrench attacks months ago, right? Are we seeing more and more wrench attacks right now?
Absolutely.
So keeping your stuff off the internet, not disclosing what you're holding. As a crypto educator, I fuck around. Don't fuck around. Like I'm not even don't ain't even on that type time right there. Like we're very minimal on this side, and there's some shit that's gonna be met with that. um, without saying too much. So I'm just telling you guys, like, if you didn't already take the security protocol in the academy, go back to it. We laid out every single way that these guys, not every single way, of course, there's breaches happening every day, but we have to be careful with these cell phone guys. The guys that I saw that lost that we were helping out, everything ties back to their cell phones. Every single thing. It trust me guys, it's not efficient. You're getting phone calls, you're pressing buttons, you're downloading apps that have a bunch of back, like, remember, the app is asking for everything: audio, um, video. It's recording your screen.
Yep.
This is where the breaches are happening. And how many apps do we have on average?
Man, 50, 100.
So when I tell y'all, you are better off getting that security protocol situation, and don't buy it today. It's going on sale tomorrow, just so y'all know. Don't buy it today. Tomorrow it goes back on sale for the rest of May. After that, I've seen some numbers on some wallets, guys. When some of these guys took hits, they took it well. They took it on the chin. But Champa tell you, man, there's been a lot of L's our way. And at these price points right now, we're talking about a change in circumstances for some people,
Absolutely.
right? This ain't like weekly salary shit, guys. This stuff adds up, especially when you've been accumulating since, God knows when. Don't treat these things as if they don't have any value. So if you buy Ondo today at $1.04 or whatever it is, don't look at it as a dollar asset. You understand? Look at it as a there's a possibility that $16 trillion could be flowing through these blockchains very, very soon. Once we get stablecoin regulations, I'm gonna leave y'all with this, and then Champ, you can grab it. Once we get stablecoin regulations, the game on. And I'm gonna tell y'all this: when this thing takes off, I am no longer in a capacity to teach anybody anything when it comes to cryptocurrency. I'm out. Everything will be automated. I'm not even pushing nothing. This is where we move into phase two of what you're actually seeing us doing now, right? Is positioning ourselves globally, positioning ourselves for international emerging market investments globally,
Mhm.
right? Because if you have, you want to go to the Porsche dealership here in the United States, you want to go to Vegas if you've never been, you want to go blow some money in Miami, by all means, have at it. But you won't have another opportunity to make that money back again. So Skyton Academy, hard pivot is all emerging markets moving forward, right? And it only makes sense because that's all we're studying now. That's it. The United States is not at the forefront of this situation right here at all. And remember, guys, this is global. So when we talk about $16 trillion, I wasn't even talking about the global money that's going to run in here.
Real
Yeah, the big
spill.
money ain't even here yet.
Damn.
And then you got a bunch of conservative money, pension manage, those type of guys. The hedge funds are going to be the most bullish because their job is to find the biggest opportunity,
Right.
right? But when you get into those pension them fund managers and shit like that, them guys is conservative. They're old. You know what I'm saying? But Lord and behold, by 2030, when those guys get in,
Remember, Steve said that. I'm gonna connect some dots.
grab it.
Pause. Yo, first things first on the agenda. Coinbase becomes the first crypto company on the S&P 500. This is what I call a star being born, right? This is history. And this is a full circle moment for me and Steve, but I know for me, definitely. So for the first time ever, a cryptocurrency company has officially joined the S&P 500. And the name for it is just, it's no surprise. We knew this was coming. It's Coinbase, right? Now, I'm not going to gloss over this because this is a huge historic moment, right? Not just for everybody being invested, but for the entire US stock market. This represents the top 500 publicly traded companies in America. We're talking household names, industry titans from the blue chips, Apple, Amazon, JP Morgan, Johnson and Johnson. And right now, shoulder to shoulder with these legacy giants, it's a crypto company. Like I knew times like this was going to come back full circle. And I was thinking about this back in 2015. So this is surreal to be fully immersed and to be standing beside Steve to be teaching this in 2025. But let me stay on cue before I get too excited. This isn't just a win for Coinbase. This historic moment is for the entire crypto industry. This confirms what most of you all already knew, especially if you've been with the academy. But what the traditional world refused to recognize or acknowledge. Crypto is not a trend by any means. It's the world's new financial infrastructure. So we're going to unpack why this deeply matters. And then we're going to tell you guys about an entirely new asset class becoming a permanent fixture here in the US economy. All right. So, first things first, validation. And this is validation from the top of the mountain, right? Being added to the S&P 500, this is not a participation trophy by any means. This requires a whole bunch of like stringent, difficult qualifications that you must meet. I'm talking size. liquidity, your financial health, public float, and much more. And just a FYI, so public float in finance, that's the portion of a company's outstanding shares that's available for trading by the public investors. So it's the shares that's held not by the insiders, the directors, and restricted parties, etc. All right. And Coinbase passed all of it. A native crypto company that was ridiculed by the previous administration, by Wall Street, now is a part of what's known as American corporate excellence. Now we got mainstream financial integration. So you remember Steve was just talking about the pension funds and all that? This inclusion of Coinbase being on the S&P 500, this forces those same players, the institutional fund managers, the pension funds, the index tracking ETFs, to include Coinbase in their portfolios. This means millions of retirement accounts are now going to passively invest in crypto and have crypto exposure through Coinbase stock, even if they don't even realize it. When Steve asked that question, what do you think these guys are doing with your money? This is exactly what they're doing. They're spotting the biggest opportunities. He just said it, clear as day. And this is exactly what's about to happen. It's indirect crypto adoption by the masses. This is how you get to that 20% of the global population, that 50% until we have mass adoption. This is how it happens. And then last but not least, the legitimacy of it all across the various markets. So the regulators, we got politicians, skeptics, everybody who once called crypto a scam or a threat to the financial stability, right? Coinbase's inclusion now puts that narrative completely to rest. It's done. They can't use that as a talking point anymore. And it didn't really have legs before when they originally used it, but now officially it's over. The market, the creators of the market, everybody has spoken. Crypto is no longer the outsider looking in. It's a permanent resident in the house of American finance. And this is what I call the very first domino, right? So Coinbase being included, this is the first domino in what's going to happen. So the domino effect is crypto native companies are all going public. They're merging with traditional institutions, right? This is where you get that trade fi that Steve was talking about. And it's officially becoming a pillar in the new financial system. This is going to open the door for companies like Ripple, Circle, Galaxy Digital, Anchorage, Fireblocks, even DeFi protocols that have institutional arms to seek listing and recognition. So this
TradFi.
this is it. TradFi. This is it.
No, but
This
it sounds better as TradeFi.
yeah, that's what I've always heard it as, but it is like written out, it's TradFi. It is. I've just always heard it pronounced as TradeFi, right?
I just have
But
to correct you grammatically. That's just what I do.
absolutely, I got you on that. But listen, the big part about this is he's right. No, he's 100% right. But the big thing about this is the context. TradeFi, right? And I'm saying this correctly in my way. TradeFi is important because just like TradFi is important, both of them are going to synergistically literally come together. It's like a Lego piece that is being purposely put together. The new world is happening right now in front of everybody. Steve hit the nail on the head. He said everybody is sitting right here and they have a front row seat. Do you understand that the traditional world, the traditional means of how we all transacted, all the business that we've done, all the products that exist with your bank right now, it's all happening. It's all being revamped, rebuilt, restructured, retooled. And guess who is sitting right in front of it? You. Your opportunities are here. So now here's one thing, and I'm piggybacking off Steve. He killed this. He did a post on Instagram for this, right? He didn't go into the details, the intricacies that I'm touching on right now, right? He just said crypto is going to be the 12th sector of the S&P 500. Now, Mr. Wonderful talked about this before, but we've been called this out before he hit that main stage and he used that soundbite. We even made jokes about it, like he's listening in on the dot connect. For decades, the S&P 500 was just 11 sectors: information tech, healthcare, financials, energy, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, industrials, materials, utilities, real estate, and communication services. Guess what is now going to be number 12? Cryptocurrency. We're forcing the new classification, and it doesn't fit into any of those other 11. It's not just tech, it's not just finance, it's an entire new economic operating system. It's a new form of money, a new infrastructure layer, a new set of services for identity, settlement, data, value, governance, the 12th sector. And y'all think this is a joke? These 5 hour calls that we sit in on, nerd out on, have discussions about, and then break it down and bring it back to you, that's not for our health. We're front row ourselves. We're positioning too. But this is the prime opportunity. And even though it's not yet labeled the 12th sector formally, this is undeniable. Microsoft, Intel, Cisco, Apple, they all came in and they demanded information technology and they created that sector. Crypto is building that exact same pressure right now. And when enough companies like Coinbase come around and they exist and they all go public, what do you think is going to happen? When DePIN, stablecoin firms, tokenization leaders, they're having whole meetings right now with the biggest players in the game right now, from not even just around the US, around the world, right? And layer ones, layer twos, etc. When they all go public and start to partner with one another and with public entities that currently exist, a new sector has to be born. So what does all this mean, right? This means this is the turning point. This means crypto is no longer subculture. It's formal, right? This means it's part of the financial DNA of the world, not just the US. And the next time that the Fed meets, they're going to be discussing monetary policy. And all of that affects a crypto company because it's now part of the S&P. The next time CNBC, they start running a stock ticker, crypto is a part of it. Politicians, when they start talking about preserving the economy in here in America and its competitiveness, they're all going to be talking about Coinbase, Ripple, crypto native innovation, whether they realize it or not. So this is about positioning. This call right here, I call this the wake up call on purpose because these companies that thrive right now, they're truly going to thrive in the next 10 years because they're going to be the ones who integrated with blockchain rails, the infrastructure. They're going to tokenize assets. As you see, it's unrolling right now. And they're settling things in real time. They're removing the friction from the current system that we all experience right now, no matter where we are. This is why JP Morgan is building on blockchain. BlackRock is tokenizing money, money market funds. Circle is chasing a bank license right now. This is why Skyton students must understand the game has officially changed. So I'm not even giving people life anymore. That I still hear it to this day, and it's wild to me. As much crypto posts that we put out, as much information is out there, people will still say that crypto's a scam. Those are just people that's not in touch. Those are the people that's going to get left behind because this isn't the end of crypto by any means. This is just the formal beginning of the new financial sector, of new capital financial markets, blockchain native infrastructure. And this is going to be the greatest wealth transfer known to man. Trillions of dollars from the old system into the new. So Coinbase just made history. And y'all are right here, front row, watching it happen, preparing, utilizing the platform. So I got a question. Because I know everybody dropped ones. There was only a couple twos. And even the people that dropped twos, they're Skyton Academy students. So even they took the step. So my question is not, is crypto real? It's, are you positioned for what's about to happen next? And you don't even got to answer that because I already know the answer. All right. Now, here's something else that I want to dot connect. Now, this next news is, it's important. This is really important. And this is why I love actually nerding out on this information, right? Because I'm gonna tell you guys some stuff that the articles and all these other people just reporting crypto, they're not gonna tell you. So Ripple just made an impressive move recently. They just offered 6 billion to Circle, right? They were trying to buy Circle outright. Yes, that Circle, the stablecoin issuer, right? So they're trying to buy it outright. Now, keep in mind, Ripple already has its own stablecoin, but they're trying to buy the company who issues the second largest stablecoin on the planet. All right. So why would they do this? Ripple is not here to play. They're here to consolidate the plumbing of the new financial order. So USDC is already 80% adopted on US exchanges, period, right? They're integrated with Robinhood, Visa, Stripe, many more, all right? And they're fully backed by US treasuries. You keep hearing that, Jim, over and over and over. So we want you guys to pay attention to that. And already seen as the regulatory baby in Washington, right? It's the go-to. But under the hood, there's some issues that exist with Circle. Circle has some baggage, right? And right now, their IPO has not been doing too good. They're about to go public, but what it revealed is in 2024, Circle made $1.68 billion in revenue, but they only made 156 million in net income. That's wild. Now, what that means is they're carrying excess debt, excess operational costs, and it's reducing their profits, right? So anybody who is trying to go public, that's a big exposure. That's a problem, right? Who's ultra liquid? Ripple. Who's already diversified their income, right? So they sell XRP to various institutions. They do cross-border payment fees. They collect that. They get yield from investments, interest on loans, etc. Right? So Ripple's already running CBDC pilots all across the world, and they've launched their own stablecoin. The reason they launched their own stablecoin was because Circle was one of their main customers, right? For what Ripple was doing, Circle was their customer. 30%, I think 30 or 40% of the money in the stablecoin that was created all came from Ripple. So Ripple was like, well, if we're just gonna keep powering through and creating these connections with these various governments, institutions, whatever, why don't we just create our own stablecoin? And they didn't wait, they executed, right? But they're already compliant. They already got what they needed. They're just waiting on regulations from the rest of the world. And today, Consensus 2025 is happening right now in Toronto. One of the people who spoke on the panel was Jack McDonald from Ripple, right? He said, and I quote, RLUSD will be a leader in this space. Their main goal and their main client is to serve institutions and enterprises. They're not thinking about us, the retail person, for this, right? So when you think about that, they only want big bread. They only want big money to flow through their stables. So if they're trying to buy USDC, what do you think that play is? Who's already using USDC? You and I, right? Everybody around the world, it's the number two stable coin. What they're doing is they're creating a new global financial stack. This is different, right? So if Ripple formally acquires Circle, I'm gonna give you guys a scenario, and this is just my thoughts, right? If they could close the deal, USDC is gonna become the retail stablecoin, right? RLUSD is only gonna be for institutional settlement, CBDCs, cross-border flows, etc. Then you're gonna use XRP as the liquidity bridge to do atomic swaps. This means you can do swaps damn near instantaneously, period. Now, when you're looking at a company, if Coinbase is on the S&P 500, Ripple is so liquid right now, they might not even go public, right? Allegedly, this is what Brad has said. He's like, hey, we're so liquid right now, there's no reason for us to go public. I still think they're gonna go public, but they're laying the new rails, the new plumbing for this new system. And if you are paying attention to what's happening, the big fish are acquiring everything that they need to because they're already connected globally. That's what they mean by it's a level playing field. This is wild. And we're talking about a system that operates 24/7 globally, real time compliance, built in settlement. Man, listen, I'm super excited because I'm just looking at the competition. Tether. Tether is not Mika compliant. Mika is already out right now, right? And Mika requires that you must be, as a stablecoin, you must be one-to-one backed, right? Tether has still not shown such. They still have not provided monthly attestation statements like Circle has, like RLUSD has, right? They haven't done formal independent audits. What happens to Tether? If it's not going to be compliant in one region and the rest of the world is being connected right now, you're seeing all these trade deals, all these connection points happening in real time. What do you think has to happen to that stablecoin? It has to move over. It's going to lose wild market share. So it's going to be USDC and RLUSD. And if it's all owned by Ripple, what do you think happens to the only asset that is integrated in their project, in their product stack, or in their tech stack? Listen, Ripple isn't just trying to compete, they're trying to take over. They're trying to own the new digital economy. What I'm getting at is this is like a new central bank damn near being formed, right? But this is on a fintech level. This is new product happening. They're taking everything of the old, bringing it to today, modernizing it, and scaling it so everybody around the world can use it. And people who have front row seats can benefit from this because you're able to invest early. This is not financial advice, just telling you what they won't tell you. It's all hidden in plain sight. I don't know if y'all know what I know, but I know this thing is moving. It's happening fast. Education itself is one of the most vital things that you can invest in right now. And I don't know anybody else or any other group, and I'm not doing this to pump us up. This is fact. This is what I know. I don't know anybody else who's bringing this information, this level, this passion right here to your screen. I don't. So what I am going to say is this new financial system is something that everybody is going to have to use. Every single one of us. And the pieces are coming together. Crypto is no longer an option, right? This is not something that you could just put at the bottom of your checklist. This is priority. This is a lifeline. And inside Skyton Academy, we don't just react. We prepare, we teach, we position. All right. If you are interested in joining a family that's going to teach you like this, that is going to empower you and get you set up for the next 10, 20, 30 years, the link is in the description below, right here on this YouTube video. All right. I'm going to leave it at that. Because when regulation fully drops and the capital floodgates open, it's game time. All right. So, Steve, I don't know if you got anything else you want to contribute. If you want to take them out. If not, I might drop it.
How's everybody's portfolios looking right now? Just drop a one if you've looked at it in the past couple of days to see the surgeons that's come into the market. And guys, this ain't we've seen 3 point. What's the highest we've seen this industry
As far as
market cap?
volume right now, 3 point, I think it was
Six.
3.79 trillion.
Okay, but we haven't seen a four yet in this.
Nope, not yet.
All right, so I'm just showing you guys that this tokenizing of these securities is a $12 trillion industry. Bigger than that. I'm just telling you that's just the start of it. So these T bonds, I'm looking at what Trump's team is doing in this realm, and I'm seeing how they're offsetting countries ditching a dollar. It won't even matter because there's so much people in the world that don't have access to all these financial um, products and baskets and array. And like Champ says, the number one thing that I've been hearing lately from a lot of these institutional guys is they say the education is the most important piece in this emerging tech because they have to stay educated. They're hiring the smartest people to break things down for them. So, when I'm having offline talks with, people within that world and they're like, wow, you got the educational piece. They were like, people should be eating out of your hands at this point now. But it only matters to people when it matters to people, right? And I understand that part. So I'm not here to create something that's not here. I'm just telling you that the first wave of crypto wealth is coming by Q4 of this year. And I mean, you've already seen Trump and them run circles around meme coins. So they have in their way
Yeah,
in anything that they drop. So we're keeping an eye on the taxes closely, right? Because to amass that much and to not be positioned correctly, um, would just have you like not knowing what to do at that point. So that's what we're working on next is making sure that we're all positioned correctly to understand the tax codes, to understand the new product that we have coming out that's going to wrap around that option of how we move from being personal investors to being investing within our LLCs. That's the next phase. That's just what I'm doing for myself personally. So, I'm just introducing that to you guys. You don't have to do it. You
right.
can you can pay whatever they tell you need to pay. No problem. Um, I'm sure it'll go to something meaningful, some good spending, infrastructure spending.
Structure.
So I'm just telling you that we a little bit ahead right now, and if you feel like you're a little bit behind, don't worry about it. Just give me a week, but we're gonna have a nice discussion for beginners or even former students, um, just to kind of set the prerequisite correctly, just to make sure that everybody is in a good position. If you don't make the first round of the wealth off the infrastructure projects, it's going to be hard to really accumulate and sit on things for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you that now because listen, being in this for 10 years, there's a level of staying above water. There's a requirement, like to just put money inside of an asset that you're not moving or touching or doing anything with and going through these market cycles. There's been times where I'm like, damn, do I need to go into and I hold strong every time.
yeah,
So that's always going to be the case in any investment class, right? If you can't sustain the longevity or you had an emergency come up, we have to start because it's easy to liquidate. We have to start having a mindset of how important these assets really are, right? Because you wouldn't just pick up and say, "Ah, let me sell my house today." You just wouldn't do it. You'd probably borrow against your home before you would actually sell the home, right? So I think we have to start to tool up our mindsets behind set asset that might be 20 cents, 30 cents, 50 cents. Like, don't look at it as in dollar and senses, right? Because if that thing was 100,000, how would you treat it? You know, if it was 2,000 or 2,500 like ETH, how would you treat it? You'd want to protect it, right? Yeah, not a big deal. You think, ah, Lowe's, I only had 100. You lost it to a hack. It's like, yo, the prices, yesterday's prices ain't today's prices.
Damn sure ain't.
And as more money comes into this market, you're going to start to see a lot more of these attacks because this is where all eyes, every financial market is going to be zoned in on this cryptocurrency situation. The only people that aren't going to know what's happening are the same thing, the same people that just didn't know what the internet was and the power of the internet. The same people that didn't position themselves with those internet jobs back in the 90s. The same people that didn't position themselves with those internet company investments back in the 90s that changed the course of generations for investors, right? The same people that invested in Apple and all these, startups that now are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in dividends, what we call staking in the crypto world.
Yep.
So what's going to happen when these institutions they need it to move the liquidity and they're offering you, and I'm not telling you to go into liquidity pools right now. I'm waiting for the big money to come in. I want the insurance guarantee.
Yeah.
And listen, there's guys making money on those protocols. I'm not knocking it, but I'm just telling you that I also know guys that are locked into these protocols too. And when the market shifts and things change, you're lending an asset out to somebody. Like, would you let somebody just use your home and just have it locked away and but you can't get access to it?
That ain't it.
Yeah, I'm treating every single one of these little coins I have as like houses at
Mm,
the straight up
I
mansion.
like that. I like that.
It's a mindset, man. It's the only way I could take this thing a little more serious. Like, I'll be honest, I don't have the best um, weekly protocol.
Yeah.
I'm getting it now for sure.
Yeah.
I had to clear space off my desk to say, oh, why am I not looking at this thing every morning?
Yeah.
Right? It's a read only. Why am I not looking at this thing every morning? Why am I not taking a screenshot of this stuff? Because if somebody was taking fractional bits from me, I wouldn't know. I didn't go to transaction history.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Guys, be careful, man. There's a lot of shit happening out here with these cold storage wallets. So next couple weeks we're going to be putting a class together too for people to come in. The 25th word we're updating if it's not updated already. SafePal, Ledger, and I believe Decent, they all have a 25th word. So now we can add an extra layer of security. I wouldn't put the 25th word with anything else that you have. You understand? And the 25th word doesn't require it to even be a word, right? It could just be something that you made up. So
Yeah.
this is going to add another layer of security to what I feel 24 is not enough. You know, I don't think 24 is enough.
No.
So yeah, with that said, that's all I got, man. Let's start treating these things like the assets they are. Um, Institutional guys are at the door. Now they're not even at the door. They're in the goddamn house already. They've
Yeah.
been in here, but now they're like telling you that they're in here.
Yeah.
And if we're giving you the cheat code to every government meeting, every financial, every document, everything that's talked about, and you know how to connect these dots, like if not crypto, then what? I'm not here to go back and forth with people on this shit. I spent literally the last 3 years like trying to sell this market that I had no benefit of, in a sense. Just really just trying to get the culture to think and move a different way, stay ahead of this for the first time. So if we just figuring out financial literacy during the pandemic because everybody wanted to get loans and then it just became a thing, like, come on, guys. They gave the game up. They're no longer playing that game. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in them groups talking about credit score and raising debt and doing all this other stuff, like you're not in the right group at this point now. Go out and get the debt. If you can get it cheap and you're versed enough to know where to put it and how long to park and you could service that debt for a little bit, treat it like a house. Start to see a little bit different.
I like that.
Yo, I'm telling you, man, I've been guilty of just like fucking taking this shit for granted sometimes because I'm around it all fucking day.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So now what I'm doing is I'm minding my own business, like literally minding my own business every day, minding my own business. I got antennas I have to like manage. This, the phone, I'm just like, yo, it became a lot for me on top of like teaching.
Yeah.
This is what's taking me away from my own business. So now I'm carving out the time to take care of my own business first. And then, the rest is business as usual. 25th word next week, guys. Did we update the protocol
We
security?
did. We
All
did.
right,
It's in
guys.
the.
So it's on your security protocol, the
Yep.
25th word.
Yep.
Please make that your friend. All right. Um, we have some new wallets too that we're going to be testing out. So we're going to let you guys know. Um, yeah, what's going on in that world with the new wallets. That's all I got. You killed it today, though.
Appreciate you, bro. Definitely glad to have you right here in the driver's seat with me, rocking out, man. This
Nah, it's all. Listen. The Coinbase situation. What you guys have to understand is cryptocurrency, blockchain technology is the 12th.
the 12.
It's,
This is
it's going to
it.
be the 12th
Oh,
sector of the S&P 500, guys. So the Coinbase noise was cool. It was cute. Um, but think about how Coinbase makes its money, right? And the thing about it is, and I used to think that banks will come in and they'll kind of mess things up for them, but that's not true because they still hold a set asset. So everybody's benefiting. We could have unlimited amounts of exchanges. We just need them. Let the banks are going to be the ones educating the general public. Because remember, when they went from cash to debit, did you have to take a class on how to use a debit card?
hell no.
All right. So let's not be dumb. Tap and go. You won't even know when the technology, like 90% of people won't even know when the technology moves. And what I would urge everybody to do is go look at your latest terms and conditions at your bank and see what's written inside of it. All of it is being converted. You have no choice at this point. So for people that tell me that they ain't getting involved in cryptocurrency or they don't see the importance of it, it's all good, man. It's just
Yeah,
you will be a user because you need your goods and services.
it's a fact. Mhm.
For those of you who are positioned well, congratulations. Like I can't wait to just take this thing to a whole nother level, man. And I'm talking about like real world applications. This is what I'm in store for. So the challenge that I put to you guys is start looking at if you had an unlimited amount of capital, what would you invest in right now? Where would you go? What would you do with your time? And let's continue those conversations like that. Right. Because you don't want to get to the point of having it and then like now you're thinking about it. Like build the reality and the dream that you want today.
Right. Write it down, make it plain.
And if I'm not embodying all of that right in front of y'all, like scared as shit one day, fucking questioning myself the next day, like I'm going back and forth with this Columbia thing. It's stretching me beyond measure. But pause.
Oh, well,
Yo, I've never had a venture like this before.
that joint is beautiful, man. My
No,
goodness.
I'm just not even that part. Just the complexity and the fear. Finally, this guy's thinking about jumping out the window.
Yo,
Never before. Like I'm out the window.
or nothing.
I'm telling you now, not when it comes to this stuff, man. When I say it, I'm for certain. I'm out. Like I'm I don't question my ability ever. But this is how you know that you're being this is where growth lies.
Absolutely. Just
You know
about
what
to
I'm
say,
saying? So now I can have a little bit of uh what's the word I'm looking for? I can feel how some people can feel stuck sometimes. I could
mm,
empathize with that.
okay.
And it's only because I'm journaling now and I'm like not I'm having to like write the shit down and face it as I'm analyzing like what the hell just happened,
Yeah.
finding my words as opposed to just running through shit every day. That 30-day mental detox is it's helping me a
Man,
lot. You know, what would be normal conversations in the street with somebody turns into like a passage that then has me unlocking another message that came from that situation. I can't believe I was walking around in the world like this. As fast as I was as slow as I was in the same pace.
wow.
Professor D, if you watching this replay, if you are here, man, I thank you so much, man. It was a reason why I knew when I heard that lady's voice that I just needed to just something was there.
Yeah.
And as selfish as it seems, man, I'm getting the most out of this. I don't care what y'all doing with
Straight
it.
up. This
I'm
joint is
telling you,
jank.
man, I've been wanting to be I'm a student at my own pace, but I've been wanting to be a student forever. Like I don't even understand how much that thing is helping me, and I'm a little bit behind too. You know, I'm being just transparent right now. There was times where I was ahead. I kind of fell off a little bit, so I gotta get back on that good foot,
Hmm.
just to keep the good practice in place. But yeah, if you didn't start it and you're in the academy, like just get it started. It doesn't have to start on the first of the month. You just need pen and paper, like whatever, man. Chip it away on some rocks or something. Like just get your thoughts out.
Yeah.
I never breathe like great life into myself, man. Historically, I'm not saying I don't. I just don't shine a light on myself enough. That's all I got for y'all. But I'm the shit though.
That's what
And
I
I'm
like
not
to.
saying it cocky. I'm just like, yo, I'm really the shit.
Matter of fact, that's him. You gotta walk around, you talk like it, walk like it, move like it. Man, nothing can stop you.
I'm truly that guy.
Facts.
And if it wasn't for this project that's twisting me in all sorts of ways, man, I'm like, damn, I'm humbling myself right now. Like they call me Bayonne. People who know me for a long time, they call me by my last name. Like I have to just say that shit to myself. Like, damn, Bayonne, you struggling right now? Nah, I ain't struggling. I'm just getting my shit together. But listen, y'all on this ride with me. Let's just keep elevating, champ. Good job today connecting those dots. Um, I don't know what else to tell the people, man. Like protect your portfolio. Uh, just keep seeking the knowledge that we keep putting in front of you.
That's it.
Get on that task force website. Like we're gonna be delivering stuff that happens, but I want y'all to be part of that conversation, taking the lead on it now. Next couple months, we're gonna have these talks, especially the members only talks, led by members. I think some of y'all, I know some of y'all ready for this. Money Mike, Wayne.
Mhm.
Wayne's been asking to help out, so all right, now's
Yep.
the time. But
Sharika
I'm
and
telling you, I want to keep this, Sharika. Y'all want to keep these lights on. Yeah, you better come through, do some house cleaning. Nah, listen, I'm out, man. Champ, there was a lot of dots connected today.
my God, man, that's what we do.
And that Ondo wasn't even priced in with the news today. You know why? Because nobody even understands it.
Nobody understands it. Yeah. And they don't understand that the same players that are lined up, the biggest institutions, they backed Ondo. They backed the project. They backed the platform. But they don't pay attention to Dot Connect. This is why we have Dot Connect Wednesdays. Hello.
And Ondo shit right on Coinbase. Ondo's everywhere.
You can get that thing everywhere.
Everywhere. The Bitcoin ATM in the hood. I'm Ondo's everywhere. 7-Eleven,
Lululemon.
Lululemon. Yes.
Yeah, nah, let's go, man.
All right, take us
Yo,
out.
we got some more heat for y'all coming, man. We ain't gonna hold y'all no more, but this has been Dot Connect Wednesdays, episode 93. 92 is going to be one in the archives. It's gonna be released to you guys, but I purposely, intentionally skipped it. So if you're looking for 92, it's not there. It's on the way. All right. But we greatly appreciate you guys. This
We
has
got
been
a
Doc.
hundred coming up. We got it. We doing something. My wife,
We
Hero was like, "Yo,
got
what are y'all doing for the 100?" I'm like,
we
I didn't even think.
have to. She's super spot on. Man, yo, Mira need a trophy, man.
She's always thinking about some shit. Yeah,
Man,
so the 100th episode is coming up, guys. So we're gonna put together something. We should do the 100th episode live.
ooh, that would be fire.
right? That's like over 7 weeks. We could probably put something together in Atlanta,
Ooh, that's fire. Yeah,
Philly, two cities
yeah,
easy to get
Philly.
into.
Yeah.
Atlanta probably the easiest hub for everybody. Drop a one in the chat if Atlanta or Philly's easier for you. Wait, what was the one? Philly?
ATL.
ATL was one?
Yeah.
How we looking?
Shit is it's a ton of ATLs. It's some Phillies in here too though, but it's a ton of ATLs in.
All right, let's put that together, guys. I think a live would be nice. I think a live would be nice.
That would be fire. Yeah.
We got 7 weeks for that. All right. If anybody has any good places in ATL that can work, some food, some libation, and a good system, I'm all ears. I don't know the lay of the land out there.
Nah. Yeah, let's write this down and make it plain.
Yeah, nah. This has to happen. All right, take us out.
All right. Listen, we out. This is another one for the books. Same time next week, we live at it again. All right. Peace. Big love, y'all.